Do animals know they exist?
Right now, there's a dog lying on a couch somewhere, staring at the wall. And if you asked its owner what it's thinking about, they'd probably say something like nothing, or food, or squirrels. But what if that's wrong? What if behind those
That art looked like Stardew Valley. That shit's tough.
eyes, there's something looking back? What if that dog knows, on some level, that it exists? Or, and this is the question that should actually keep you up at night, what if it doesn't? What if you are the only kind of thing in the entire universe that knows it's alive?
What is the base minimum threshold for being conscious is what I'm trying to say. Because just because we say we're conscious because we're the top of the food chain compared to other animals when it comes to intelligence, if another alien came out of nowhere and they were smarter than us, that wouldn't not make me think I'm conscious. Like it can't be based on sensory. Like I wouldn't think I'm more conscious than a blind person just because they were born blind and they don't have that ability to perceive the world through sight. It doesn't make me any more conscious than them. You know what I'm saying? It makes me more aware in terms of senses, but it doesn't make me more conscious. So why would that apply to animals is what I'm hoping to figure out. Does that make sense?
A psychologist named Gordon Gallup Jr. came up with what is still considered the gold standard test for self-awareness in animals. It's called the mirror test. While it's unconscious, you put a small mark somewhere on its body. A dot of paint on its forehead, a sticker on its ear. Somewhere it can only see in a mirror, not by looking down. Then you put it in front of a mirror and watch what happens. Most animals see their reflection and think it's another animal. They posture, they bark, they try to scare it off. Eventually they get bored and walk away, never once understanding that the thing they were threatening was themselves. But a handful of animals do something different. They see the mark. They look at the mirror, they look back at themselves, and they reach up and touch the mark on their own body. They understand that the reflection is them. The animals that pass? Chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, gorillas, but only occasionally.
So don't that low-key mean if a gorilla finesse you, you gotta see me about that? Like for example, I saw this video the other day on Instagram. Like these two monkeys put up on this girl that was on vacation. She was taking pictures, you know, like in Thailand and shit like that where they be taking pictures with the monkeys. But one monkey rolled on her head. She was getting ready to take the picture with the monkey on her head. And another monkey hopped out the bush or out the side of the camera and bit her arm. So she immediately looked down because she got bit. It was like, ah, shit. And when she did that, the monkey on the top of her head got the signal and grabbed her earring and took it out. And they both ran off in the same direction. So if they basically could perceive themselves to the level where they're looking in a mirror and they understand they're alive, then that monkey basically understood that it disrespected you, like on a social standpoint. Does that make sense? So why am I wrong if a monkey slapped my girl ass? Don't I have the right to clap it? Don't I have the right as a human to correct it in a way? Because it's like, you know, you disrespected me. That don't mean I gotta kill it. If a baby kissed your girlfriend, you would not be mad and want to kill the baby unless you're fucking insane. But you would correct it. You would be like, don't do that. And just move his hand like and teach it the behavior. Don't do that shit. So why a monkey get to run up and slap my girl ass, steal my earring, but I don't get to be like, hook the nigga up and slap him or some shit. Like, don't do that shit. Nah, niggas want to call PETA on me, though. That's crazy. I'm just saying.
Dolphins, orca whales, elephants, and one bird, the Eurasian magpie. A crow-sized creature with a brain the size of your thumb that apparently knows what it looks like. The animals that fail? Dogs, cats, almost every other mammal on Earth, including, for the first 2 years of their lives, human babies. Now here's where it gets complicated. Because a lot of scientists think the mirror test is a terrible way to measure self-awareness. Dogs, for example, live in a world built almost entirely on smell, not sight. Asking a dog to recognize itself in a mirror might be like asking you to identify yourself from a recording of your own heartbeat. The format of the test is wrong, not the dog. In 2017, a researcher named Alexandra Horowitz modified the test. Instead of a mirror, she gave dogs a scent version, their own urine, altered urine, and completely foreign urine, and watched which one they spent the most time investigating. Dogs spent significant...
Yo, scientists really be coming up with some weird shit, bro. I feel like scientists don't get enough credit for that. To create a controlled environment is already impressive. The world is so vast and spontaneous, it's like, it's so hard to even think of a science experiment that will work every single time. Or just think of a formula that will work every single, you know what I'm saying? That's why I think Isaac Newton is the smartest nigga. Because when you quantify gravity and shit like that, like you on another level. Like, and then you could live your entire life with one idea from that controlled environment, like, oh, 2 + 2 is 4. It's always been 2 + 2 is 4. But it's crazy how one day one nigga could show up again in the future and be like, whoa, no. That's crazy as fuck.
More time with the altered version of their own scent. They noticed something about themselves had changed. By their own rules, in their own sensory world, dogs may know exactly who they are. But knowing who you are is different from knowing that you are. There's a distinction philosophers have been arguing about for centuries. It's the difference between being a self and knowing you're a self. Between having experiences and knowing you have experiences. There's a word for this. Metacognition. Thinking about your own thinking. Being aware of your own awareness. It's what you're doing right now, actually. You're not just reading these words. You know that you're reading these words. You can zoom out from yourself and observe yourself from the outside. That's the question. Can animals do that? And the answer, increasingly, is yes.
Really?
But it's messier than anyone expected. In 2007, researchers at the University of Georgia ran an experiment on rhesus monkeys. They gave the monkeys a memory test, and after each question gave them a choice. Take a hard test worth more points, or take an easy test worth fewer. The monkeys consistently chose easier questions when they were uncertain of the answer, harder questions when they felt confident. They weren't just answering questions, they were evaluating how well they knew the answer before they gave it.
Damn.
That's metacognition. That's an animal thinking about its own thinking.
I definitely gotta whip his ass, bro. I told you. Them niggas is smarter than I even thought. I knew they was smart, but I didn't know, like, they had metacognition.
Rats have been shown to opt out of tests they haven't studied for, choosing a smaller guaranteed reward over gambling on a question they're not sure about. Pigeons can report their own memory failures. Dolphins have been observed hesitating before answering, in a way that mirrors human uncertainty. These animals aren't just reacting to the world. They're modeling their own internal states. They know when they know something. They know when they don't. But here's what science still can't crack. All of that, the mirror recognition, the metacognition, the self-modeling, it's all behavioral. We can watch what animals do. We cannot get inside what they feel. There's a concept philosophers call qualia, the raw subjective texture of experience, the specific redness of red, the particular pain of a paper cut, the feeling of being you, right now, in this moment. Is there something it feels like to be a dog? Or is the dog just running biological software, processing inputs, producing outputs, with nobody home?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, what's the minimum on that? It's not brain size, because they said that they said that little bird or whatever has a brain the size of a thumb, but it can still recognize itself in the mirror. So brain size doesn't really have anything to do with it. Is it the amount of neurons in your... I don't know, bro. So, like, we could be saying dogs are not conscious, but they can be just in their own way. Because if it's not a brain size or brain volume or, like, brain circumference or some shit like that, like, it's like, there's no minimal quantitative data on that. So what do you measure that off of? Like, it's like, we can't just be going off of, nigga, I know you know. Like, you can't just be going off, nigga, I know you know what it feel like. Because, like, what if whole time we've been saying that to other humans and they deadass don't know what you're talking about? So if you tell a sociopath about an emotion that they literally cannot feel, they can tell you, I can't feel that, but we still know they're conscious, right? So how does that not apply to animals? Or if it does, then how? Like, what animals and how do you know what's the cutoff?
1974 paper with one of the greatest titles in academic history. What is it like to be a bat? His argument was simple and devastating. Bats navigate by echolocation. They experience the world as a landscape of sound reflections that we literally cannot imagine. And no matter how much we study bat brains and bat behavior, we will never know what it feels like to be one. The inner experience is inaccessible. And if we can't know what it's like to be a bat, how do we know there's anything it's like to be anything other than us? Some scientists think we're massively underestimating animals. In 2012, a group of neuroscientists gathered at Cambridge University and signed what became known as the Cambridge Declaration on Consciousness. Their conclusion, the neurological structures that produce consciousness in humans are not unique to humans. Birds and mammals, and possibly other creatures, possess the same neural substrates for conscious states. In plain English, the hardware that runs consciousness in your brain exists in their brains too. The lights, they argued, are probably on. Frans de Waal, one of the world's leading primatologists, spent decades watching chimpanzees and argued that the question of whether animals have inner lives was almost backwards. We should be shocked, he said, if they didn't. Evolution doesn't tend to invent something from scratch. Consciousness almost certainly evolved gradually, just like legs, like eyes, like lungs, which means it probably exists on a spectrum, and we are not at one end of it and everything else at the other. We're all somewhere along the same line. And then there's the one piece of evidence that's hardest to explain away: grief. In 2018, a killer whale named Tahlequah lost her calf. The baby died shortly after birth. And for 17 days, Tahlequah carried the body of her dead calf on her head as she swam. 17 days, across more than 1,000 miles of ocean. The rest of her pod took turns helping her carry it when she got tired. Scientists called it a tour of grief.
Damn, that's crazy as hell. Rest in peace, my nigga.
The longest recorded in any non-human species, and no one had a clean behavioral explanation for it. It wasn't about survival. It wasn't about feeding. There was no evolutionary advantage to carrying a dead body for over 2 weeks across open ocean, except that maybe she knew her calf was gone and couldn't let go. If that's not the behavior of a creature that knows something existed and now doesn't, what is? So where does that leave us? Here's what we do know. The more closely we look at animals, the more the gap narrows. Every decade of research closes the distance a little more. Abilities we once thought were uniquely human, language, tool use, culture, mourning, self-recognition, keep turning up in other species. The wall between...
And that's exactly the point that I tried to make in the beginning. We don't even know how to ask the question, yet alone answer it yet, on whether they can perceive us the way we perceive them. We don't even know the right controlled environment to be able to test that and prove it. So I make a lot of jokes about vegans all the time, but like it makes a good point though. They do make a good point, which is why like ultimately I understand the cause. I just don't think on a regular day I care enough to commit to it. Because let's say it does become proven or they do reach a level of understanding where it's like, oh shit, these niggas know what's going on. How do you come back from us as a whole species eating them? Like that would be bigger than slavery, my nigga. One animal that we consistently eat does become conscious to that point. Or even like, it doesn't have to be when we eat. Let's say a dog becomes conscious to that point and they say, y'all been enslaving us for your whole lives. It's like, how do you come back from that? We're in too deep. That's why I gotta eat my burger and my fries, my nigga. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Us and them has been getting shorter for as long as we've been studying them, which raises an uncomfortable question.
If a racist feel how I feel about the burger shit, where it's like, I cannot atone for eating burgers so much or chicken, because if they became conscious one day, ain't no coming back from that. I feel like if racists kept that same energy, I would appreciate that way more type shit. Like you could just say that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like why doesn't nobody want to say that?
We've been wrong this whole time. If animals do exist in some meaningful sense, if there's something it's like to be them, if they feel and grieve and know themselves, then the way we treat them isn't just an ethical question. It's something we've been getting wrong for all of human history, and the only reason we got away with it this long is because we couldn't ask them. There's a chimpanzee named Washoe who, in 1966, became the first non-human animal to learn American Sign Language.
Damn.
She learned over 350 signs. She taught some of them to her son. One day, a researcher who had been gone for a long time came back to visit. Washoe hadn't seen her in months. When Washoe saw her, she signed, "Cry." Then she pointed at the researcher's eyes. Cry. She wanted to know why the researcher wasn't crying, why she wasn't as moved as Washoe was. Whether or not Washoe understood her own existence, she understood yours. Maybe that's...
Damn, that's weird as hell, bro. It makes you feel guilty even for being alive as a human. Damn, that shit is deep. Hey, this was a good ass video. The video's so damn good, I forgot to be like zooming in and out like I was supposed to be. That was a good ass topic. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want me to watch next. And until next video, thank you for watching.